Welcome to the show radio. And now, here is your host, Andrew Alliance.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for downloading this episode of the show radio. This is episode 241. I'm your host, Andrew, the host and editor-in-chief of the show radio. This is episode 241, and this is the Ori and the Blind Forest review. Before I get to that, I definitely want to say I appreciate you and your support. The last episode 240, which you can find at theshowradio.info/240, was actually recently featured on hot97.com, which was absolutely amazing. So definitely thank you for that. All your support is really appreciated. So I definitely wanted to say that, right off the bat, I really do appreciate your support, everything that you guys do, resharing, and especially N4G. N4G has been really live lately. Been getting a lot of support there, a lot of comments and interactions on the post. So definitely means a lot seeing that. It's definitely encouraging. Definitely appreciate it. So head over to theshowradio.info. And for my archives, you will find podcasts and a couple of posts there. I also made some changes to the press pages for features and things of that nature. So definitely check that out. Subscribe at theshowradio.info/iTunes, and I really do appreciate it. So as far as Ori and the Blind Forest, it's really not going to be a long review at all. I'm definitely going to get right to the point and tell you what I saw and experienced and still experiencing today when I check it out again. It is definitely a masterpiece. But before I get to that, my sponsors, ProXPN, head over to theshowradio.info/ProXPN and use the promo code SHORAM for 20% off the lifetime of your account. Audible is the next one. Audible has over 150,000 audiobooks to choose from. Get your first audiobook free with a 30-day trial. Sign up today at theshowradio.info/audiobook. Definitely do that. You won't regret it. Bluehost is the last but not least on so many levels because they actually power my website. Bluehost, built on open source technology and one of the world's largest providers of cloud-based online solutions. The show radio is powered by Bluehost. Sign up today at theshowradio.info/Bluehost. And definitely continue to support those sponsors. Thank you for your support. ProXPN, Audible, and Bluehost. You guys mean a lot, and definitely your support is appreciated. So Ori and the Blind Forest, let's get right to it. Ori and the Blind Forest is a platform adventure video game by Moon Studios and Microsoft Studios. They're an independent developer. They've been working on the games for about 4 years. And most of that 4 years, they spent that on perfecting the gameplay of the game. So the game is already out March 11th. It came out 2015. It is for Microsoft Windows and Xbox One. I have it for the Xbox One, and it's absolutely amazing. Okay, so the game is inspired also by Lion King, Iron Giant, and the iconic works of Studio Ghibli, Miyazaki. So definitely check those out as far as, Googling, which you guys can do that. The soundtrack is out. You can find it on multiple platforms, Spotify, Amazon. It's composed by Gareth Coker, featuring artists, Aireli Brighton, Rachel Mellis, and Tom Boyd, and the orchestra that performs it, that is the Nashville Music Scoring Orchestra. So the game, I believe, is advertised as 1080p, 60 frames per second. There are no Kinect functionalities to the game. As far as the story goes, it follows Ori. It's, as they coined it, it's a coming-of-age story. The players put into a role of a forest spirit, which is Ori. And over the course of the game, you are learning different things about your environment and your role in it and how it affects you overall. Now, the game itself has some RPG elements to it, and the core focus is the pride that the game takes is the fact that it is a very challenging platformer. So if you do not like to die in games, especially platformers, this may not be the game for you. But if you're ready for a very visual masterpiece, and even the score itself is absolutely amazing, I think you definitely should consider this game. So some more stuff I want to share about the game. As far as the game, if you've played any games like Metroid or Castlevania, or the genre specifically is Metroidvania, these are the games that I definitely want you to think about when you are considering this game, this $20 game. I don't know if I said it was $20 already, but if you're considering this game, it's about $20. And these are the games that you should consider or think about as far as trying to map out what kind of game this is. Strider, I think any Strider. Well, specifically, you can actually go to the one in 2014. That one was good. Fez, Dust and Elysian Tail, Super Adventure Island 2, Cave Story 3D or Cave Story, Aliens Infestation, Insanely, Twisted, Shadow Planet, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Shadow Complex, which is one of my favorites. Shadow Complex is absolutely amazing. Super Metroid, and of course, Link to the Past. So these are the games that you can even think about or kind of get a feel for what kind of game Ori is actually. And it is definitely fantastic. So some further things I want to mention. Controls. As far as the controls are airtight, one of the things I mentioned earlier on is this game prides itself on not just, the platformer aspect, but the fact that the controls are airtight. So if you remember the game Super Meat Boy, that particular game, you died a lot. The stats for dying in that game was absolutely crazy, horrendous or terrible, however you want to look at that. So controls are very, very solid in this game. So if you think of a game like Super Meat Boy in terms of how tight the controls were, and if you died, it was your fault, not Super Meat Boy, the game's fault, right? So you can definitely, look forward to that in this game, Ori and the Blind Forest. Also, soundtrack, it'll rock you to sleep. It'll get you excited. It'll make you sad. The game is emotional. Even in the beginning of the game, there's a part where it is very emotional. I think I cried. I'm not going to say I did. It's a possibility. Maybe my heart got heavy or I was sad. A combination of some of those things, maybe none of them. But just know that even in the very beginning of the game, you're going to experience something very emotionally incredible for a game. And I think when a game moves you like that, it's definitely something that is really powerful. Even movies or any cinematography or gamography, if that's even such a thing, or even a word or whatever. But when a game moves you like that, or a movie moves you like that, I think that, the actors, actresses, or whoever's performing, whether it's a musical score, or artist, or the director, or whatever, however the scene or the piece, the art was presented and it moves you, I think that's absolutely incredible. And I think one of the things you'll find in Ori and the Blind Forest, it moves you in that way, emotionally, through the score, and even looking at the game on screen. Every piece of the game on screen in motion is like a painting. Michelangelo would probably paint it on the Sistine Chapel, during the high Renaissance painting days. I think that was 1508 to 1512 or something like that. So Michelangelo would even paint it on the Sistine Chapel because the game is so beautiful as far as a masterpiece. It's like a work of art, right? Now, as far as like the soundtrack, as I mentioned, it will inspire you. It will be very emotional. It speaks to you, in terms of a soundtrack is concerned. I think when I think of this particular soundtrack, I really think of Dust and Elysian Tail as far as the soundtrack is concerned. Beautiful masterpiece there on both fronts for both titles. Not saying one is better than the other, but as far as like looking at the game musically, or artistically, or when it comes to the score itself, I think Hans Zimmer will be even inspired to even do more scores because of the soundtrack. That's how good it is. That may sound a little bit extreme, but I mean, that's really how I feel about it. It is that good. So, overall gameplay is fantastic. I don't think this game has they didn't leave, well, how should I phrase it? Their very heart is in this game. You could feel that. It's definitely a hard work paid off, type of experience, especially for the fact that it's only $20, which is a steal, but I definitely think that, when it comes to certain games and their range of hours, when small companies are doing games that are memorable, I think they should be definitely considered to be added to the library, however you can do that. PC, Xbox One, or whatever the platform is, but specifically this game is PC an Xbox One for $20. I don't think you can lose if you make the decision to get this game. I would say A plus. If I had to give it something like that, I would be high A's, nothing less than that. If you do 5 out of 5, that's your thing. 10 out of 10, however the highest marks, it deserves it. I know it won a lot of awards during E3, 2014s in terms of the presentation, graphics, story, and all those different things. I think it deserves you checking it out. So, that is my review for Ori and the Blind Forest. It deserves your attention. And the fact that you took the time to listen to this podcast is appreciated, but I think you should have stopped listening a long time ago and picked up the game. That's just my personal opinion. But definitely thank you again for listening. This is episode 241 of The Show Radio. Definitely check it out at theshowradio.info/iTunes. Your support, your downloads, anything that you say, whether it's on N4G or hot97.com or wherever you see the show, experience the show, east, west, north, south. I really do mean that. It means a lot to me. Thanks for checking out the show, and see you next time.
You're listening to The Show Radio. Visit our blog at theshowradio.info. Subscribe and rate us on iTunes at theshowradio.info/iTunes. theshowradio.info/iTunes.